So these people trained for 12 weeks on these different types of diet and training plans and protein intakes. What were the results? I know you're asking, you're waiting for the results. You want to know the results. What is going on, YouTube family? Gabriel say, aka The Truth, back with another Teach Me Tuesday. That's what's up. As always, if you like this video and it helps you in any way, shape or form, don't forget to hit the like button, smash the thing, yeah? But we got a question from Dayanch Esonov. Hi Mr. Say, what do you think about nitrogen balance and about gaining some lean muscle at a calorie deficit? PS, really want to know your opinion. You're doing great. Good luck. So, the nitrogen balance. I put up a video probably about a year ago about building muscle, burning fat at the same time. Is it possible? Blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people in the comments were like, oh, but if you have a positive nitrogen balance because Jeff Cavalier of Athlete Next, blah, 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 said so. And I'm like, I have nothing against Jeff. I think he's a very good YouTuber. I think he gives very valuable information. But let's start off with what exactly a positive nitrogen balance is. Without making it sound like I'm a scientist reading from a science book in a lecture in flipping physical education and anatomy. When you're building muscle and you're anabolic, the nitrogen levels are increased in your muscles. When you're catabolic, there's nitrogen excretion. So nitrogen leaves the muscles, right? And nitrogen is found in amino acids, so basically protein. So you eat more protein, you increase your nitrogen balance within the muscles. Does that make sense? So that's basically what a positive nitrogen balance is. So here's the theory. You increase your protein, which increases your nitrogen, and then you go into a calorie deficit, but you're still in a positive nitrogen balance. So you'll effectively lose body fat from being in a deficit, but build muscle from being in a positive nitrogen balance. But before I give you what's in my head, let's have a look at a study. Now you guys love studies. No, but this study says, let's have a look at the study. So this particular study was a randomized controlled trial, and the title of this study is Effect of a Hypocalorific Diet, Increased Protein Intake and Resistance Training on Lean Mass Gains and Fat Mass Loss in Overweight Police Officers. So the first group, which had 10 people in it, were placed on a hypercalorific diet, 80% of their predicated needs. And the second group, which there were 14 of them in there, were placed on a hypercalorific diet with resistance training plus a high protein intake, which was 1.5 grams per kilo of body weight. And this was using casein protein. Then the third group was pretty much identical to the second, apart from they were using whey protein instead of casein. So these people trained for 12 weeks on these different types of diet and training plans and protein intakes. What were the results? I know you're asking, you're waiting for the results. You want to know the results. So the average fat loss for each group. Group 1 was 2.5 kilos. That was diet alone. Group 2, which was the exercise, increased protein and casein, was 7 kilos. And then group 3, which was the same as group 2, except they used whey protein, was 4.2 kilos. The lean mass gains from the first group, nothing happened. The lean mass gains in the second group increased by 1.4 kilos, and in the third group, 0.7 kilos. What does that tell us? To be honest, I thought that was a pretty crap study. So it was quite a small sample size, and they used overweight police officers. Were they all overweight to the same point? Have some of them trained before? Are some of them training currently? Are some of them completely detrained? Are some of them beginners? If they train, how do they train? How often do they train? So many unanswered questions from just the sample itself. Because by now, with all of the research and studies that have been out there, there are only a few types of people that can go through this type of body recomposition. Without going into too much detail, because that's a separate video, you've got the beginner lifter, so that's what they call the newbie gains. You've got the overweight lifter, you've got the detrained veteran lifter, so a veteran lifter that maybe has had an injury and they're coming back, or they've just taken a break for a few months or whatever, or people that use steroids. Different video, not getting into that. But putting that to one side, a lot of articles, a lot of studies, a lot of people's opinions on this matter say that you should increase your protein to around about 3.2 grams per kilo of body weight. So for me, I would be looking at about 300 grams of protein a day. What if I told you I've done this? What if I told you I've gone higher than 3.2? So I would be in an epic amount of positive nitrogen balance. WBFF 2014, I want to say, or was it 2013? Whichever one it was, WBFF Denmark. I competed in that in the muscle model category, and for that prep, my coach at the time had me on 400 grams of protein per day. 400, let that sink in for a second. 400 grams of protein per day. Did it work? Maybe. If it did, I didn't really see a difference if I can compare it to every other show. Was it worth all the money that I had to spend on extra good quality protein? No. We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin. Excuse me for the brief interruption, but I needed to let you guys know that the True Beats merch, my clothing line, is now restocked and live. If you want to check it out, if you want to support the channel, support the growth of the Gabriel, head over to truebeatsathletics.com, check it out, and use launch 10 if you want 10% off. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Nitrogen balance and all of that. So let's look at this logically. I try and think of like where these things come from, because a lot of the time these things that pop up that people end up doing studies on and they're trying to figure out, you know, if it's true or whatever, it normally comes from people looking for that shortcut, the perfect shortcut that will help them to gain whatever they want in such a short space of time, the magic pill basically. And then it got me thinking, so the recommended daily allowance for an adult, normal adult that doesn't really train, they just, you know, go to the office, come home, don't really do much, is 0.8 grams per kilo body weight. Let's calculate what that would be for me. 0.8, I've actually put on a little bit of weight, so I'm now at 92 kilos. 73 for me. So people then realized that this is very low for an average gym goer, so they increased it quite a good amount. And I do it in pounds. Like when I calculate it, I do about 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I'm about 204 pounds. So around about 200 grams of protein. That's how I calculate it, and that's, you know, the general consensus. Did anyone like stop to think that this has put us into a positive nitrogen balance? And the second question I ask is, if you're eating enough protein, which majority of people, especially that are watching this channel, I know there's some beginners, but a lot of people that watch this channel who are like deep into the gym, you have your protein at probably 1 gram per pound of body weight. How many of you have encountered the symptoms of a negative nitrogen balance? This includes things like always getting sick because your immune system sucks balls, constant injuries, fevers. Hypothyroidism is another one that is associated with negative nitrogen balance. What I'm getting at is most of you are probably sitting there going, no. Most of you are probably like avid gym goers, your nutrition, you're pretty much on point with it, but you're looking for that something extra. You're looking for that thing to tip it over the edge, to, you know, get exponential gains. Because as a natural lifter, there's no shortcuts. It's a combination of great efforts in all areas. Sleep, hydration, micronutrients, balanced macros, training like a beast, progressive overload, cardiovascular health, etc, etc. Oh, and almost forgot the 2 key ones, patience and grind. This is exactly the same as running a business. There's not one thing that's gonna just make everything go unless you have a trust fund, aka steroids, which you don't. Just grind it out, enjoy the process. You enjoy it more that way. But anyway, that is it for this video. Thanks for that question. It was awesome sauce. And the transformation Tuesday of the week goes to Dean Patch 96, epic transformation. Literally just realized that he's wearing the same t-shirt. That is so sick. But as always, if this video did help in any way, shape or form, don't forget to hit the like button, smash the ting, yeah? Don't forget to leave a little comment. Yo, Gabe, I like how you went into a bit more depth on positive nitrogen balance and whether it's actually worth doing. Thanks. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, hit that bell to get all notifications, and I'll catch you guys, sexy bunch, on the next one. Peace.
Whipping excursion. I gotta pick up that person. In the trap, whipping that working. You're not a gangster, you're just an internet version.